recently was with Queen, of course, Under Pressure. That also seems a rather unusual combination.
It was. I've not really met them before. They were working in a studio locally to me, and called me and asked me if I'd like to pop down to the studio and the inevitable jam.
Yes.
And it happened as a jam, and it just came out of that.
Do you feel that these sort of collaborations give you a chance to actually move into another slightly different area of, say, perhaps the pop market again, as opposed to...
It just makes me think I ought to write more. I mean, the jams always come about when I haven't been writing much, and I get a bit twitchy, and I think I play some music with somebody, and I go and play it, and I think I should be doing this on my own.
Okay, let's move from the sort of the world of movies and move to. It was reported a little while ago that you'd contemplated making a pin-ups too.
Yeah. Yes.
And you actually said that you had 5 songs, but you never. The piece that I read, you never actually said what they were. I'm very interested to know what exactly they were.
Would you? Didn't the paper say what they were?
No,
didn't they make up their own titles?
No.
Very surprising. Well, the only one I can think of offhand that I'm going to tell you is Keep Forgetting by Chuck Jackson. This goes back to middle 50s, I think. I don't know, I've always wanted to redo some of the things that I did with Iggy, and some of Iggy's things that he did before we met. Always wanted to do some Iggy things. Might do those. Yes. I've not felt the need to do a pin-ups thing recently.
Sure.
I'm rather excited about new material I'm doing at the moment.
Excellent.
For the next album.
Great. That is due fairly soon, is it?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to be as soon as I finish this thing, I shall go and record somewhere and put it together immediately. I really want to get back in the studio. It's been 2 years since I've been in a studio proper to do an album or anything.
With the new album, then, is it going to be along basically the same lines as the Scary Monsters? No, so it's obviously something we have to wait and see.
Yes, it's no, I've got to be excited about anything that I go into the studio with, and it's in, as I said before, attention span is not the greatest, so I do tend to wander off pretty quickly after I've intimated an idea of some direction, and then I stop it.
You contemplating any new musicians for?
I think I will be working with quite a few new musicians. Again, I want to not bring anybody's name into it in case I don't work with them. That would be awfully embarrassing.
Of course. To the albums, obviously, is the video which has come out, especially from Scary Monsters. Particularly interesting stuff. How much of a say do you have in the visual realisation of your music?
Well, I completely directed that one. It was my first real. That one and Fashion were my real sort of start in directing. It's a major reason why I'm doing movies, is to work more and more with directors to find and characterize my own approach to directing. I think it's quite easy to make a film with no style. I'm after a particular style. I started off with Brunel, which is very obvious on the Ashes to Ashes thing. It was like a 20s Dali Brunel movie.
Yes, it works particularly well.
For 3.5 minutes, yeah. It was making them go well for 90 minutes without losing interest.
We're not likely to see a new album sort of as a visual and a recorded.
I don't think so. No, I think. No, I really would like to concentrate on a very low-profile piece, nothing sort of very grandiose. It's, probably it would take place in England against a background that I know, and would be about a marriage with children. Not something like Ordinary People. I wouldn't be surprised.
We hear an awful lot about the cut-up method of songwriting. Can you explain a little bit about how this actually works?
Yeah. It was introduced to me by Burroughs, William Burroughs, the American writer, in 1972, when I met him in London. I'd been very interested in his style of writing, which didn't work on a linear fashion, and it seemed to present the reader with a series of images, although ostensibly unconnected, made great sense in the subconscious. And I asked him how he did it. He said, well, it's very simple. He looks like a banker, Mr. Burroughs. And he just took 3 statements dealing with the same subject, cut them up, mixed up the words, and took out bits and pieces, put them together. And using that as strictly as a tool for writing, you can take imagery from those lines and the accidents that are produced and create some devastating psychological effects that really create an atmospheric condition without actually talking literally about the subject you want to talk about.
It's a sort of a shock effect as opposed to a built-up narrative.
Yes, and it has, again, that nighttime quality where the real meets the unreal. And that's an aspect of writing I've always admired in a lot of authors and pop writers, is the ability to keep things on a surreal and real level, so they have feet on earth and their heads in heaven, sort of thing. It's a twilight state, I think, that one goes for.